Hey everybody, Marc here at TekStack. I wanted to take 10-15 minutes to talk a little bit about automating billing with TekStack. So a lot of software companies obviously generate invoices, and the process to basically get the invoice out the door to the customer in order to get paid is a little arduous, especially with services related invoicing like project milestones that are due and need to be released, time and material billing. Quite often what we see is there's a system for time entry, and that time entry needs to be reviewed against how the project's doing. Quite often that project's being managed in a completely separate system than the time entry system. And then those time entries do get approved and they need to find their way onto an invoice. And quite often that is the accounting system, which requires rekeying and all this kind of stuff. And if you're a good sized organization, you could be, invoicing 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, $1 million in services a month. It's not hard to leave behind accidentally, a few hours per resource of utilization. And that can really, really add up because that's all profitability that you're losing. You can never truly invoice time in the past. So you have a very narrow window to get that right. So what we do is kind of automate all that billing by integrating the project system through the time entry system and with a complete integration of Microsoft's Business Central. So here what we have is TekStack. This is specifically our project management capability, or you might call it professional services automation. We call it delivery. So if you're delivering projects, so if you're a technology company that's delivering projects, this is kind of a tool that helps you manage those projects. I'm going to specifically go into a project that we created called New Integration Project, and that is for a customer called Integrated Systems. So if I go to the system or the account here, you can see that Integrated Systems. If I were to open up that account, this is everything about that account. You can see that Integrated Systems has probably in the neighborhood of 5 invoices. And if I go to my accounting system and I go to Integrated Systems, you'll also see that if I drill in, they've got 5 invoices as well. So I'm showing you Business Central, and this is the TekStack capability right here. And I'm going to show you how we can basically automate the creation of invoicing. Let's take the first example of a billing milestone. So here I have a project. This happens to have, a very simple project. It has 2 project tasks. One's actually a milestone task. You can see it with a little diamond here, and it's a billing milestone. So, you don't often mix billing types, but we are seeing more and more. We have, let's say, a fixed price project. Maybe the change requests are coming in as time and material. We can handle hybrid kind of scenarios, or you might have projects that are entirely fixed price or projects that are entirely time and material. Here, for the sake of example, I've kind of blended the 2 together on a very, very simple project. So I'm going to open up this billing milestone. You can see the billing milestone is $7,500. If I'm the project manager, I'm going to mark it as complete. Okay, so this is typically where the first failure happens with project milestone billing. Is you have a bunch of project milestones that are out there, and the project team is making progress on the project, but nobody's letting accounting know, hey, you got to release this milestone. Because quite often, how the project managers are kind of motivated to run, they're not necessarily keeping an eye on billings. That might be the VP of Professional Services or somebody in accounting. But it doesn't take long to overwhelm the team, and it's not uncommon that you can forget billing milestones until it's too late, especially if a project's not going well. Trying to get a milestone that's a few months old could be a challenge. So you want to get that kind of stuff delivered as quickly as possible. I'll show you some resources later that the teams can look at to make sure they keep up on all that kind of stuff. Either way, what we'll see here, if I go over to the revenue section in TekStack, I'll have a milestone invoice, and I'll have this project kickoff integrated systems ready to be invoiced. So, very simply, I just, as an accounting team member or somebody in a VP of Professional Services kind of role, I'll just say, yeah, this one's getting ready to get invoiced. I click the invoice button, and then this will just fall off the list, and we'll see an invoice getting created. So if I go over into my invoices that are generated by the system, we'll see here the billing milestone for integrated systems, $7,500. Looks like there's a tax on there as well, and that's ready to be processed. So if before I actually show you what it looks like in Business Central, let's just do another kind of sample. So I have my, I'll just navigate to my project here. Let's do the time and material invoice. So here I have my new integration project. Okay. And as a consultant, basically probably the first thing I need to do is actually assign a resource to this project. So very quickly, I'm going to assign David to this project. And what that's going to do is tell David, hey, I have some work to do. And now David can enter time against that project. We make it a little harder for resources to enter time on projects they're not assigned to. There are exceptions, but we generally, that is a preferred best practice. Here, I'm just going to enter a new bit of time. And I'm going to say that I'm going to enter that time in for today. And it's a 10-hour budget. And I'm going to go to the 10 hours. I worked all day on this thing. Okay, and so I'm going to enter my time. There's a bunch of different ways to enter time. We have timesheets. We have timesheets that are pre-populated. I can do it from my phone, do it from a million different places in the system. I just happen to do it from this project task right here. Because David is the approver for this project, I didn't want to flip between users. I'm just going to quickly approve the time. And you can see that project or that time entry moves from confirmed to approved. And now if I go into my revenue section again, I'm going to see in a very similar way, if I go to T&M invoicing, I'm going to see the integrated systems project right here. New integration project, 10 hours, $1,600. And I'm going to approve that for invoicing as well. So now what we'll see, a couple invoices. The way I did it, we would have actually generated 2 different invoice documents. It doesn't have to be that way. It's all about the timing of generating the invoice. So if you wanted to mix fixed price milestones, time and material milestones on one invoice, not a problem. I just happened to generate the invoice for the milestone before I did the time entry. But anyway, here's a $1,600 invoice. You can see the status of new. And that's ready to go to the customer as well. So that invoice got created. So if I go to integrated systems here, what we're going to see, if I go to the invoice section, I'm going to see not 5, but 7 invoices for my billing milestones. And here's the billing milestone, and here's the time entry that we did. So that's the generation of the invoice. You can see also, if I go to the invoice section here, BC ready for invoicing. That just means that Business Central integration between Business Central and TekStack is configured for this customer. So that will have been sent over to the Business Central system. Okay, so why don't we flip over there and I'll show you. I decided to run the little sync between Business Central and TekStack. So if I were to go to this customer record again, you can see 7 invoices, not 5. And you'll see the creation of the $7,500 invoice for the milestone and $1,600 for the time entry. So basically that is synchronization between TekStack and Business Central for invoicing. Kind of the benefits of this kind of process. Number one, you really shorten your invoicing window. If you're doing time entry on a weekly basis, which is recommended, if not daily, recommended to do at least weekly, you're going to get that billing cycle kind of shortened really nicely for a month end. So if the month ends on the 31st, you ideally want to get invoices out on the 1st. So if you're doing weekly time entry, that makes that process a lot easier. Typically, billing milestones, you're going to want to invoice on as they're completed. You don't want to wait till the end of the month typically, because that's just extending your day sales outstanding. So you want to generate that as quickly as possible. So this is going to shorten your window to get invoices out the door. The second thing it's going to do is eliminate any rekeying, which is quite often something that happens today. When you do rekeying, you're essentially having two different sets of information in two different systems, maybe more. By having everything automated, there's no issues. So, for example, if an invoice goes out saying I did 10 hours of work, but the time entry system says you did 12, they're not going to jive. They're going to have a different set of information. So project managers are not going to have any confidence. The third benefit is that project managers can actually see what got invoiced. The fourth benefit is that you're not going to lose any billing milestones that should have been released. There's a way that we can show all the billing milestones expected by date, so you're not going to forget any of that. And probably the last really important thing is accuracy. So by integrating these systems, it really gives you a better opportunity to really find every last hour of work that should get invoiced. We have everything kind of built in to allow project managers to get the absolute most out of utilization, but to make sure even the onesie, twosie, half hours here, hours there, will flow automatically into the invoicing system. So hopefully that was some value to you and our technology customers out there, especially those in the Business Central community that might be using Business Central already. Just wanted to show you the integration between TekStack and Business Central. Have a great day.